Ever feel like you're running out of time? Like there just isn't enough time in the day? You ever feel discouraged because you look at all of the stuff that you want to do and how much time there is, and you say, screw it, I won't do anything. And then the next thing you know, time has passed by, and then you're kicking yourself because you haven't done the thing that you said you were going to do. And then when you do the thing that you said you were going to do, it starts to get overwhelming because there's so many things, there's so many components that you have to manage and take care of. And we start to feel like time is slipping away. We start to realize that time is getting shorter and shorter. The older you get, the faster time goes by. And pretty soon it just feels like you don't have enough time. There's just not enough time in the day to be able to do all of the things that you want to do. So you say to yourself, the solution must be that I need to manage my time more effectively. You get out a calendar, you find some system, and you start plugging in all of the different things that you want to do. And as you start to look at the calendar and the calendar fills up, you realize, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. There's just not enough hours in the day to get through all of the things that I want to do. And then we see people who are these quote high achievers, these people that are constant striving for more and more and more. We actually look up to them because we think they must have the answers. They're the ones that are achieving. Look at how much money they have. Look at all of the vacations that they go on. There must be something wrong with me in the way that I manage time. So let's go find another system to help me manage time so that I can have more time. But the problem is you can't have more time. Time is infinite, but for us as humans, it's finite. You might get hit by a bus. You might get diagnosed with a terminal illness. We don't know how much time we have. For us, time is finite. The older you get, the perception of time starts to change. One of the things that I would do, I would start to feel overwhelmed. I would decide I'm going to manage my time. I would get a system. I would work on an Excel spreadsheet or a calendar, and I would create these elaborate systems for managing my time because when I looked at the other systems that were out there, they were always missing something that I thought needed to have in that particular system. The solution that I found that worked for me was to stop trying to manage my time. About a year ago, I was talking with my coach, and we were on this concept of I was just feeling completely burnt out because I was doing this program and I was trying to build this thing over here, and I was working on this project over here, and I was coaching these people. I was just overwhelmed. One of the things that came up for me was that it wasn't that I didn't have enough time, it was that I didn't have enough space. Because what is it that we're trying to do when we're striving? We're going after all of these different things. What is it that we're actually trying to do? We're trying to get more spaciousness in our life, that pause, the ability to try to sit back and relax and look at all of the things that you've achieved. And then at that point in time, you'll finally find happiness in your life. And I'm not saying you shouldn't try to achieve, but if that's your focus, that's your drive, you're going to get addicted to the anxiety that's always constantly pushing you forward. Instead, when we learn to master our space, when we learn to create spaciousness in our life, then we actually get to do what we want in the first place, which is to relax, enjoy, and be in the moment. When I was younger, I was trying to do all these different things. I had all these different roles. I was a husband, I was a father, I was an employee, I was a church member, I was a member of this organization, I was in the choir, I was in the men's group, all of these different things, and they were all good, but they took up so much time that I had no space. I had no space in between. And because I had no space in between, I started to feel burnt out. I started to feel like I was never going to measure up. But what I did was I just doubled down. I just figured I needed to try harder. I would try to manage things better. Back in the day, we had these things called day planners. It was a big, thick notebook with our calendars and our notes. And so if you were around in the 90s, you probably remember having the day timer. This is before we had phones and pocket electronics. And we would carry these things around and we would refer to them as our brains. So how do we master space? The first thing you have to do is slow everything down because spaciousness is wide. It's slow. It's immense. If you think about space, the infinity of space, We're sitting in the awe and the wonder of this particular moment and the spaciousness of where we're at. You can create spaciousness in your environment. You can create spaciousness just by going outside. You can create spaciousness by slowing everything down. Time is always ticking by, right? It's going, 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 going. And we're trying to control that. And we can't because time is always going, going, going. But spaciousness, we can slow everything down. Like air, for example, there's air everywhere, right? But we can't absorb all the air. But what we can do is we can slow our breath down. And when we slow our breath down, we're getting present. We're getting grounded. We're creating spaciousness. We sit and we slow everything down and we enjoy the moment. And the thing that happens when we slow everything down and we're present is, first of all, we're going to be fighting against the anxiety that says you need to do, you need to achieve, you need to run, you need to move faster. We're going to be fighting against that because that in many ways has been our addiction. Instead, when we take the spaciousness and we sit and we slow everything down and we get into that rhythm, the anxiety starts to dissipate of always needing to achieve and allows you the space to just be. And when you're being, when you're in the state of flow of just being, you're no longer chasing, you're no longer striving. Instead, you're just being. And when you're just being, there's a calmness to that. There is a sense of groundedness in that. The first exercise that you can do to create more space is just slowing down and create more spaciousness in your breath. The other thing you can do is become a Tai Chi master. And I'm not meaning going and getting a bunch of Tai Chi lessons, but you think about Tai Chi masters, they're slow. They're always moving like this, you know? And what if you were to go through your day like that? Just slow, methodical, conscious, aware. What would that be like? For me, the benefit is that it becomes a state of flow where I'm moving from one thing to the next rather than reacting and responding. I'm creating the spaciousness in my life, slowing everything down. I try to achieve a whole lot less and just do things slowly. And when I do things slowly, the funny thing is, I actually achieve more. This morning I was practicing this. Everything I did, I was just slowly, like I was in slow motion, just slowly, grabbing my coffee cup, bringing it up. Oh, that seems a little bit boring, but when you relax into the spaciousness that you have, you start to feel a lot better. And that's because when you do less, you actually achieve more. When you're methodical, when you're pristine, when you do things from a place of intentionality rather than reactivity, you're going to get a lot more done. The Navy SEALs have the quote that says, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And the truth of it is that when we slow everything down, we actually achieve much more than when we're trying to manage our time. One of my favorite quotes is by Abraham Lincoln. He said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening my axe. What he meant by that was slow, methodical sharpening of the axe. 4 hours of time to just get that thing honed in. He'd be able to chop that tree down much faster than he would if he started and just started chopping, chopping, chopping. So try this today. As you're walking through your day, as you're going through life, pause and slow down your breathing, slow down your presence, slow down your movements. and just be methodical, intentional, and enjoy the space. Because what's the point of doing if you can't enjoy? Anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you liked it. If you did, like, subscribe, make a comment, and I'll see you next time.